Sometimes teachers say, well, they're here now, so why should I pay any attention to their primary language? I don't speak their primary language. Why should I even consider that? They need to learn English. I need to get them into English. But we know that the native language, and this is well borne out by the research, that the native language holds an unbelievable power on successful English learning and literacy in English. And where students have considerable primary language developed and primary literacy, if we can measure that coming in, we can predict who's going to jump into English quickly and who might take a little more time to get into English and through English. So when learners come and they have a lot of primary language, they have skills built in their primary language. They have strategies in their primary language. They're active readers. They know what reading and writing are. And in many cases in the US and in North America and many other parts of the world, the language that they know as their primary language shares an alphabet with English. So they're bringing a tremendous amount, to say nothing of vocabulary, the cognates that exist between their primary language and English. So to turn that off and say, click, we're not going to use that, it is actually, you can't turn it off. The student is going to bring it anyway, just as we would bring English into any language that we're going to learn. It's a known skill set. We're going to try to use it, if we can, to jump into the other language. So it's a bridge. It's a tool. I can build a lot of background knowledge through the primary language, and it's a confidence booster. If I know that I can read and write in my primary language, I'm going to be fearless going into English. But if I'm weak in my primary language, I could be insecure going into English. And then the teacher needs to know that and understand that they're going to need to give me more support because I never had the chance to really develop my mother tongue before jumping into English. But it's always important with an English language learner, and it doesn't matter high incidence, low incidence. If I could know something about their primary language when they come into my classroom, it would be so useful to me. And I do want to mention two tools here. One is omniglot.com, which allows you to look at the orthography of all the languages of the world so that you can see what the symbol system looks like and learn, is it a syllabic language? Is it an alphabetic language? Even if they've only been exposed to it in the environment and they have never been taught actively to read, it's still important. Those are the symbols they saw in their world. And another one is Words Their Way with English language learners, which teaches me about how to bridge from the primary language over to English. So these are not the only tools, but these are some critical tools that can really help us when working with a second language reader to learn ourselves. We have an obligation as teachers to know our learners and to know our learners' language and to educate ourselves. And it's fun. It's fun to learn about their language, and we make better guesses about why they're doing things when we're trying to teach them to read and write. All of a sudden, their behavior starts to make sense to us because we've taken the time to come to know something about their primary language.